Hi, it's Steve here and welcome back for the third part of the Lions Castle MOC set review. And here are the living quarters. This section of the castle is what gets built in the second of the 3 digital building instructions. Once again, I'd like to say a big thank you to Let Bricks for this review copy and making this video series possible. So what's in this part of the castle and who lives in the living quarters? Let's find out together. From the outside, we have a half-timbered room set upon the castle wall. I really like how its design implying wooden beams, rendered walls and blackened tile or straw roofing contrast with the stone masonry around it, to give it a sense of being a more recent addition to this part of the castle. To the left of the half-timbered room is what looks to be a watchtower and marks a rear corner of the overall castle. The whole corner section is curiously at 45 degrees to the adjoining walls, which I feel adds interest to it. As you might be able to make out by the bars across this window here, this room on the ground floor is a cell. And its adjacent room with small slit windows is somewhat grim too. This room with its large opening connects to the room with the trough on the castle gate side. And with its large double doors here, I think it's safe to say that it is a barn or stable. Now before we explore the interior, I'll quickly connect the castle gate section and spin it around. The Lions Castle is really starting to take shape now. Turning our attention back to the living quarters, we'll check out the half-timbered room first, followed by the watchtower, and then the dungeon and barn entrance. Here we go. The roof of the half-timbered room lifts off easily as there are no stud connections between it and the walls. The pieces that make up the majority of the roof are upside down, which I think is a really clever way to achieve this look. Within the room, there are some modest bedding, a trunk behind the door, and a cozy table with 2 mismatched chairs. I'm thinking that this might be the living quarters for the protectors and staff of the castle. This rear watchtower is very similar to the watchtower of the castle gate. The battlements here have more curves in their design than those towards the front of the castle. Again, one of the murder holes here is covered up, and it's just dawned on me that it faces the ladder, so that's probably why. The lower room has some clips on the wall, though nothing is attached to them, and an unusual choice of pieces is used for great effect for the windows. On the ground floor is the entrance to the barn through the large double doors. These well-placed reddish-brown pieces do a good job to limit the opening of the doors, which is a nice touch. The door under the small section of roofing leads us into the dungeon. I placed the spider and web here to suggest that this part of the castle hasn't been used in a very long time. There's a chair with spikes against one wall and grisly implements on the opposite wall. An empty cell with just a chain to occupy it makes up the angled room at the rear. As you can probably tell, I'm not the biggest fan of this part of the castle. And the great thing about these MOC sets that use Lego compatible pieces is that I can change things up with some inspiration. I have some ideas and would love to hear yours too. Here's what I'm thinking to kick off our brainstorming. The front room could be a library with shelves filled with books, and the rear room a storage space with random treasures or junk. Or the front room could be a wizard's lab with vials, potions, curios, all spread about a table for experiments. And the rear room could perhaps be their private quarters. Or the front room could be like a bathhouse and the rear room a sauna. Or maybe the whole space could be a shop of sorts. Please leave your ideas and suggestions in the comments as I look forward to reading them. And that's the living quarters section of the Lions Castle MOC set designed by SleeplessNight and made by Let Bricks. In the next video, we'll be looking at the keep, which might be a bit of a handful. Thanks again for watching, and bye for now.